Okay, boys and girls, I've been stupid today. Well, I'm not being stupid. I'm always pretty careful in what I'm doing, but no, I'm being stupid. Let's roll the intro and figure out why I'm going to be stupid today. And a warm welcome to one and all. If it's your first time here, I'm Big Scruff and I live my life on the charts. Now, everything I do is real time. I don't do rollbacks or anything like that. So what you see is what you get. But I also moderate a group, and the Scruffy Squad, they are a wonderful bunch. But they do get out the box every once in a while. And we'll definitely be getting out of our box because we're going on holiday together in Benidorm. So that's going to be a hoot. So let's have a look. Benidorm, there it is there. There's a little channel. They're all getting all excited to go. And as you can see, there's going to be quite a few of us getting to go. I'm quite looking forward to it. So might be about 10, 11 of us. And we'll have a jolly time. We'll get ourselves in the classroom, do some trading in the sun, and then get ourselves in the bar and trade the profits for beer. That's the plan. But what I'm going to draw your attention to is this. Okay. Pull this back up where they're all sort of winding in this morning, just saying hello to each other. Here he is, the little hobbit, small Paul, because he's only about that big, tiny wee thing. Popped in, do you fancy a challenge? And they do this to me all the time, guys. You know, they'll go, let's go and poke the big bear. You know, let's poke the bear. And that's what they do. Do I fancy a challenge? No, I don't. But you've known me a long time. And let's be honest, you've been in the pub with me and you've seen what happens in there as well. I'll get the mankini out. No, that wasn't the challenge. But it's going to be when I'm in Benidorm, I tell you. I'll do it. I'm actually going to do the session just in the mankini. Then we'll see how much you're paying attention. He's thinking a fast market, low lot size, and get as close to $1,000 as possible in one day. He's asking me to gamble. I don't gamble. It's my number one pet hate. But it's not to say that you can't have a goal to move forward with. So I then asked pretty much what are the markets that you're interested in. So I'm not picking these, they are. It's US, which is the Dow, the US 30, the NAS, US 100, or gold. Gold's really hard to sort of navigate at the moment because of its all-time highs. And it's just kind of hanging in the wind at the moment. So I'm going to look at the US 100 because I like to trade it one product at a time and keep half an eye on the Dow. But then it came down to another section, whereas no more than 0.1, which is £1 a point. Okay. That kind of rules out the US 30 because it's quite an expensive market to get in. Asked what the maximum splits are, allowance, and it was no more than 5 splits at £1. So that's like 5 at a time, £5. So we're going to try and start with £5, like £5 position size, which you can put on with very small money depending on your account. If you've got 5,000, it's a breeze. If you're on something like BlackBull, you can do it with probably about 500 to 1,000. I wouldn't recommend it, but it can be done because it's 500 to 1 leverage. So you can use the leverage to open up the position size. So it is in the realms of possibility on a small account. But if you are tricked, at £5, I would recommend you don't have less than 5,000. And 5,000 in a trading account, it's not really difficult. Okay, so that's the Discord, and that's what we're doing. Brilliant. So, let's have a look at the chart, shall we? I've already prepped this. We can see this is on a Murray drop. It's on a wonderful drop. and I've sat and worked out what's happening for this next hour. We currently just after 8 o'clock. The news has been in, so the news is up and ready for the guys. And what this is pretty much telling me to do is sell the market, but it's actually telling me to wait. So I'm just going to give it 5 minutes to relax a little bit, and then I'll reset it. I'm not going to go mad with this. All right, this is pulling back up into this level, but what I do need to do is start working out where I'm going to put entry exits based on this. So the next one is probably here, which is up there. All right, it's a pretty solid drop down. Take that down. We're going to drop this down into 15 minutes so we can see what's going on with it. And it's coming into this. It's probably pulling against that particular move there. So let me just widen this out so we can have a look. So it's coming up top, bottom, and it's working inside here. So if I'm looking to find entry exits, it's pretty tight, but it's going to be this. Now, this particular entry exit criteria will possibly change throughout the day. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to work on this up until news announcements or targets. Okay. News announcements are coming in at 3 o'clock. So I want to be out of the markets by then. Now, I'm going to also do an extension of that. Turn it round, just like so. So just flick that round like there, and then I put the extensions going the opposite direction, just like so. All right. Key areas of attraction are in place. I just need to start working this out. Now, if I scalp, I'll size up. I'll go to the full 5. If I'm going to day trade, I'll break it up into sections, pound a piece. And we'll see. Okay. What I'll do is I'll leave the market now. I'll come back to this in 5 minutes or so, and we'll see where we are. But as soon as I enter a market, I won't leave the camera. I'll let it run. Okay, so I'll keep pausing it till we go to market, but up until that point, we'll be fine. Okay, catch you in a bit. Okay, guys, it's now 8:15. We can see it's come up here and it's stalled on this level. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put an order underneath here, and I'm going to start following it up. Now it is stretching. The predominance of this market is down, so we're going to start it off on this blue line, and we're going to try and get it down here relatively quick. Okay, so I'm going to put our order in. Just like so. And we're going to go straight in at a 5er on this one and try and get in and out relatively quick. Now, if we can get it down to here, that'll be 282. I think that's a bit of a tall order, but it could be possible. So let us see what happens, but we're going to try and get this to a better price. All right. In other words, I'm going to follow this up. Ideally, we can get it up into here just by trailing candles, but I'm going to start it off here. And if it breaks this, I'll cancel the order off and I'll actually stage this one. I'll kind of explain that if I have to do it. At the moment, what I've got is I've got a small area before it hits this level. so I can't really stage into it too much, so there's no point. So I might as well just load up and get the slam. Now the slam might actually only get to about here, this area, which is fine. I can live with that. But I'm going to let it see if it will slam down into here. If it does, we're laughing. We really are laughing. But then I've got a barrier here, which creates a problem. So I'm working from that level to this level. We're in. So this is the first trade. We'll just watch how it goes, and then we'll see about doing the next one. Okay, right, catch you in a bit, and I'll just leave some music on. I won't come off the camera no more. Okay, so that's the first profits out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reset and look back at these levels to see which one can work. Hopefully it's going to crack through, and then we'll get a bit more, and then we'll reset the whole chart at 9 o'clock. So I'll keep on going. Okay guys, that's coming up to the end of the first hour. We're currently 110 underwater. I'm not worried. I'm basing this on sort of like a 10% for the day on a £5 account, which is 500 quid against me. So it's still okay. I'm also playing with house money now, which is 81. So that's like 581 it can go against me. And I've got to be thinking about this all the time. Now, why am I that high? Well, it's very simple. It's a challenge, and I don't believe in 1 and 2%. I think that's all bollocks. You put so much money into the market to get so much money out of the market, and you operate it. It's that simple. But it's not for everybody, and trading isn't for everybody. So you need to remember that. Something I subscribe to very heavily is, if 90% of you fail, then 90% of what you listen to is a load of crap. I don't care if you follow me or you don't. So I don't sell anything. I do this for pure enjoyment. YouTube, that is. Trading is actually my job. That's what I pay attention to. And I've also got well over 25 years of business experience. So I know how businesses run, you know. And that's what I'm doing here. I'm operating the chart. Now, in that hour, there's been a slight change as to how this is. And I've amended that from the anchor to sort of the trade, just to highlight a couple of things. It's still telling me to be selling it, but it's actually downgraded it into a scalp. So it's going to be pretty risky. So what I'm going to be doing at this moment in time is I'm just going to be looking to go from one simple level to the next over the course of the next hour. And I'll get in and I'll get out. I'll get in and I'll get out. Now I'm having to pay attention to this because there is some upward movement on the lower time frames, which may cause a problem. Now, if it does, well, then it does. I'll just have to deal with it. But we start with 0, we end with 1. Doesn't matter what happens in the middle. So let's carry on, see what's going on. Okay guys, it's top of the hour. As you can see, the price hasn't really gone anywhere. So what's happening? Well, change this. There's no change. It's still telling me to scalp, and it's still telling me I'm looking at selling these things. I've kind of got to stick to my guns on the direction. I could have looked at the low time frames and said, right, I'm going to go against this. But there's a big danger about going against it, because if I'm wrong, I'm in a world of pain. So at the moment, I'm going with the bigger flow, which allows me a better stop. It also allows me to sit calm. Now, if I'm going against the bigger flow, that means that by definition, I've got to pull my stops in, and I don't like tight stops. I really don't. And the market's got to be allowed to breathe. This market, it looks heavy at £140 against me, but it's not, because I've already got money in the bank. So I've still got that as a buffer. So the loss isn't that bad. So I'm not sort of worried about it. But what I'm looking to do is kind of try and get out of the trade, reset it at a better price, and then go back into it. Now, if I can get it to run, get £100 or 50 quid, doesn't really matter. That's what I'll do. But the whole process is about just patience, watching what's going on, and sticking to my guns. That's it. I'm not gambling. I'm not doing anything. I'm not being one of these dickheads that's, oh yeah, it's pushing up. I'm going to buy it. I'm going to buy it. Oh no, it's going to sell. I'm going to sell it. I'm going to sell it. You want that? That's just entertainment. Go watch it. Here, you get none of that. I don't give a crap. Yes, they're at it again this morning, and to be honest, hey, bugger me. I'm knackered, boys and girls. Having a 3-story house is no good. Having the cars valeted at the minute, and I need to go see him. That's why I'm out of breath. But this was fine. Let me tell you. Let me have a coffee first, though. Bloody hell. Oh. I'm not very fit, boys and girls. Right. It's just hit 12 o'clock. I'm going to close this one out. Boom. But I'm going to reset it. Okay, so we should be doing okay. 156 we're up to now. Now, why am I resetting when it looks like it's running? Well, it is. But it's now moved into sort of scalping territory, which is here. Selling across the board, but I'm going to rebuild a trade backwards. I'm going to build it up. So I'm going to put £1 in.
and then I'm going to explain a couple of things. So I'm going to drop this down to £1, and we're going to put that in just pretty much straight away. But then I'm going to rebuild the fiver up here, because I've got plenty of room to build it, and the chances are I'll push up and then push back down again. At the moment we're still running to this area, so I'm happy with that. But I can now start reducing what I'm doing. I've got plenty of money to play with, which I do. And sure enough, that's coming up because it's on the level. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stage up to in and around probably this area here. In fact, yeah, I'm going to stage to there, let it come up and then run down there so I can pick up better pricing and go. If it runs for me, outstanding, and then I'll run it for the next hour. Now, some of you, and I know because I get it all the time, where's your stop? What you do? Why you let it run so far? Blah, blah, blah. I work hour to hour. You're watching a 5-minute chart, but the chart I watch up there is a 1-hour chart. I let the candles close. As long as the criteria is in place, I'll hold the trade. And that's where scaling comes in. Because if I'm holding it, I have room to work within it. The problem I had with this over the course of the last hour or so, I was actually maxed out. I was what's called a trap trader. I couldn't add to it because I'd already gone in too high. Now what I'm doing is, I've got the money out, half decent. I'm going to build it up so that I'm not maxed out. And I'm just going to keep on doing this. So let's carry on this journey, and I'll speak to you in a bit. Okay guys, it's not long after 1 o'clock. Little change of dynamic now at the top of the hour. This is where we now have to manage our trade. Because as you can see, the dynamics have changed. It's now telling me sell, but the lows are neutral. The trade is neutral. It's completely risky. But the multi-time frame that I look at is telling me there's no trade. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to manage this to 0. So as soon as that goes net positive, I'll kill it. We're doing okay at the moment. We're up to 175, so we're miles away from the target, but it's all managed. It's all staying relatively close, tight knit. And what I mean by that, look, it hasn't really gone anywhere. My other chart is looking at it from an hour's point of view, and yeah, I think we're gonna get out of this when we can, and then we're gonna reset it, because what it also says when it's weird, it means it's not dead in the water, but I'll have to check it every 15 minutes. But in the meantime, I need to get out of this and then reset. Okay, so that's what I'm doing now. So let's carry on, and I'll come back to you top of the hour. Okay guys, I've pulled these trades. I'm now zero, but the reason I've done it is very simple. In 5-10 minutes time, there's going to be a news announcement. I don't want to be in it. If I've got this wrong, that'll scream away and it'll hurt me. So I'd rather have peace of mind and kill off 10 quid, which is all I've done. So at the moment we are net positive to the tune of 172. So I'm actually 3 quid down or whatever it was earlier on, but I'm prepared to sacrifice them for the greater good. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to watch the chart. It's not a major announcement, but if it's wrong, I can actually use the opportunity by being scot-free to get a better price and then come back into the market. But my tool that I use at this moment, I'll just have to rely on what the chart offers. So I'll be doing what's called a Kylie, and that's price action trading using a fib, and I'll work my way forward doing that. Okay guys, catch you in a bit. Okay guys, it's hit 1:30. News hasn't moved the market one iota. So it's very low impact. It was just medium mainly. There is news at 3 o'clock, so I'm gonna have to be careful around that time. So I'll now just go back to trading the charts as normal. Why do I do it that way? I'd rather be safe than sorry. I never gamble. Well, I do gamble. I gambled on marrying her. I don't know whether I won or lost yet.
Hey.
Well, if it's happiness, I won. If it's financial, fuck me, did I lose. Right. Let's go back to the chart, see what we're looking at. I actually have to reassess this. It's just gone to there, so I'm going to do it now. It's only the 5 minute that I need to reassess. So let me have a little look. Actually, it's not. It's the 15 minute as well because it's half past. So it's neutral, positive, neutral. The guys in the squad will know what I'm talking about. And it is positive, positive, and becoming positive. Okay. It's changed the dynamic somewhat to a degree, but we still got a neutral anchor. Let me just check something. It's positive, negative, neutral. Yeah, it's still a tough call this at the moment, guys. It hasn't changed a great deal of the settings. It's left it roughly the same, which is this. So the low time frames are neutral. It's still kind of telling you to sell it, but it's telling you to stay out of the market. But it is saying wait. So I'll look at it again at 1:45. But rather than just let you watch the candles dance, I'm just going to pause the camera because I'm out of market now. And I'll just keep coming back till I go back to market, and then I'll leave the camera running, and then that way you're not too bored. Okay, catch you in a bit. Okay guys, we're coming back. I've just dropped an order in. I'm going to scalp a full whack underneath this for the push down onto the final level, which is down here. And I'm going to sort of target in and around this area, and then I'll weather the pain back up to here. Okay, so that's roughly what I'm doing. So I'm just going to put that onto the top up there. Now what I'm actually hoping it'll do is move up to slam in, but I'm just going to be very quick and hopefully work. So I can now move this up onto that line, drop that onto here. Right, so I now just wait. Okay, I'm not triggered in as yet, so what I'll do is I'll switch the camera off. If it triggers in, I'll come get you. If it doesn't, well, then I'll not. I'll just have to wait till I go to camera, but I'll come back later. Okay, guys, I'm going to reevaluate this. Coffee, please. Wonderful, thank you. No, well, I didn't think the audience were going to come over to the house. Yes, sorry. We getting the coffee going. You might have seen that I've had quite a bit. I'm going to enter this market again now. And I'm going to drop in straight away, but I'm going to go in at £2. There we go. To allow me a little bit of breathing room. I'll just put it down there. But I'm going to revalue these levels against a 15-minute chart. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to move that out to 15 minutes so I can see what's going on with it. Have a little look. It seems to be pushing against that, which was originally that. Okay, so I'm going to drop it down in 5 minutes so I can see it clearer, which is here. And I'm going to put a fib on here. Pull that down onto there, just so I can see it. And then what you can see here is that reevaluation has come in on this level. Bang on. So I'm going to just shift these around a little bit to create new entry exits. Why? We've gone through dinner time. We're into the afternoon session of London. And I want to reevaluate what is going on. So that's exactly what I'm doing. So put them into place. You can see the box of pains are up here. So I'm going to drop that up there. Drop that blue box, or these blue lines down onto here. Delete that. And then I'm going to see what this looks like on an expansion, but go in the opposite direction. Okay. Which is there. And then what you can see, that 127 lines up perfectly with that key level, which means I can pull that in and tighten it up. It's all about reevaluation all the time, seeing what's good, what's bad. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to stage this out and let this run down. We're back into making money. The chances of me getting this to £1,000, let's just say it was going to be hard work to start with. Now, if I was scalping the thing and trying to put bigger positions on and milk the market, I probably could do it. The question is, can I do it every day? No. So what you're seeing me do, and I know this is a long video, and a lot of people get sick of it in one thing or another, but fine. Those people won't survive trading anyway, so it doesn't really matter. You're not going to learn anything from a 5-minute video. You're certainly not. It takes a good year to get your mindset into place for trading. And it takes a good couple of months, 3 months, to get a full understanding of how to operate a chart. And even then, you're still learning. I mean, I've got nearly 2 decades on me, and I learn every day. Every day is a learning exercise. So what I'm doing now, I've tested the water here and it is pushing up, but the markets are now pushing to an extreme on the lower frames. I'm expecting it to slam down and continue in the trend because it's showing no signs of aggressive moves to the upside. So they might look aggressive, but it's 5-minute chart. Doesn't really mean a lot. So I'm now going to use these to get a better price, build up the position, and then come back down again. All right, so I'm going to do that for about the next hour. So I'll leave the camera running and I'll catch you soon. Okay, guys, it's gone to 2 o'clock and there's been a change in sentiment, but it's an odd change. Let me kind of explain. It's telling me it's risky, wait, sell, but this is telling me to scalp it. Okay, now if I'm looking at this, it's telling me to buy scalp it. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to hedge the trade out. I'm going to remove this here, and I'm actually going to trade up over on itself there, but kill that off if it comes. Okay, so I'm going to let it come down, and then I'm going to look to start scalping the thing the opposite direction. It's not something I do very often, but I'm doing it just because of this. Now I'm only going to go in at £1, and I'm going to go above the current where are we at? Let me just quickly set this up so that I don't get a little bit confused. So price stop, and we want to scalp into the next level. So that's where we want to be. Right, okay. So I've set that up. So I've actually got best of both worlds now. I'm not trapped with this trade, but that is so significantly pushing up. I think it's going to give me an opportunity to get out. But because I'm going to look to move the price up, have I put that in as it? Ah, bollocks. That's the one I want. Because I'm going to move that one up into this higher ground, it'll actually relieve the stress while I'm trading. Okay, and we're talking small monies in a tight range, so I can get in and out either way. So that's what we're going to do. So what we're going to do, because we are scalping up over, I'm going to take these out for now, and I may well put them back in. So it's either going to slam down, take out my £2, or I'm going to catch a quick scalp moving up the opposite direction while I'm getting a better price, because the sheet tells me that. But the strange situation is the bigger way is selling it. So I've got to keep that in my mind. Okay, it's a bit dangerous. It's not something I do a lot, but I'm doing it just to get the figures up. Okay, catch you in a bit. Okay guys, we're coming to the end of this. We're kind of playing with house money at the minute because we've banked quite a bit. So I can let it run through the grey box somewhat, and probably let it go about £300 through the grey box. Don't particularly want to, but I can. But I do have a feeling this market is going to be coming down. It's not so much a feeling, it's just the general vibe and the way the market is reading. You'll often find there is a big push up just before an announcement, or I'll rephrase this. You'll find there's a push in the opposite direction to the way the announcement's going to go. Now, in this case, it's pushed up. Now, that could be from the Canadian Bank of England interest rate, bank interest rate. And now we're going to be coming into some US data in about 2 minutes. Now I've set this pretty wide. I was going to kill it off, but then when I was reading the markets, it wasn't really doing anything. There wasn't setting anything up. So, and the 130 data was a complete damp squid. Didn't do anything. So I'm just kind of edging the bets on the day is going to follow through like that. Now we are in what's called a box of pain. Now this is where I start thinking I need to start working something out here, and if it goes much further than that, I'll just have to suck it up. But let's see what happens in the next minute or so. and we'll crack on. And there we go. I was right to analyze it the way I did, but because it's in such a surge very quickly, my plan was to get out at about 50 quid just to let it reset and do what it's doing, because as you can see, it slammed down, stalled on, it's stalling on these levels, and let it pull itself back up again before it moves down. Now it's 3 o'clock. I'm not going to be trading any further today. I am absolutely knackered. I've been at this since 6:30 this morning, and you've watched the journey all the way through. Trading is about protecting your account, etc., etc., and that's what you've seen me do over and over. Now let's have a little look at the scores on the doors, make certain I've got nothing running. No, got everything's out now. That's the day. So I've actually failed. I'm sorry, Hobbit. I did my best, but I stayed within the limits of what you said. I never went above £5 position size, and I worked hour to hour working the chart out, and I've ended up with 298 quid for the day. Now, for a full day's work, that's okay, and I was right to do what I was doing because that has slammed up. Now, the chances are that'll push back down again, but I don't want to risk it. It's the end of the day, and I'm now very tired, and you can't concentrate that long. So I'll take my 300 quid and I'll accept the fact that I was wrong. And I was wrong to do it in the first place. I do this for the squad all the time. I analyze the chart, I watch what the chart's up to, and I read what I see. And you've seen that journey all the way through today. Not a one-hit wonder. It was in, it was out, it was reevaluating, going back to market. I had to kill a couple of trades off when I was a little unsure of what was going on, but I worked my way through it. Now, if I was using my whole account and not just 5 grand, I could have easily have held on to those trades because the account was big enough for it. Another situation we have is here, because this is my own account, it's not prop or anything like that. I can trade through the news because a lot of prop firms don't allow you to trade through the news. And it's kind of one of the downsides of the prop industry, because you should be able to trade the way you choose. Now, while I was doing that, I was also doing something on JPY. Now, let me just flick this over and I'll kind of show you. So still done okay, because this is another account I'm running, and that one, well, I've done a grand, and this is a swing account, so there's some swaps involved, but I've got out of that as well. So happy days. I've had a good day, and that's all we do. We just plod along over and over, job after job after job. Now ask yourself, do you do the job? Drop it in the comments. Are you gambling or are you working? Well, I work for a living. Don't expect any freebies. Don't expect anybody to give me anything. Everything I've got, I work for. And what you've seen today is exactly how I do it. I've hardly been out of this chair since 6:30 this morning. It's a lot of concentration, and that's why I'm calling it a day, because I'm knackered. And especially because I'm going to have a few hours off, and then I've got to go back to the screens tonight because I have a face-to-face Zoom call with the guys, and we go through the charts again. So I need a break. So as always, guys, do what you love, and the money will follow. See you all in the next one.